Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Thirsty Thursday live podcast. Hopefully, everyone's having an awesome week. And tonight we have cool Kathy on the show, and we'll be talking about pretty much a whole bunch of things, right? Starting a business, how to stand out in the industry, and then so much more. So I see a few people in the chat. Just like always, like the last probably 10, 15 minutes of the show, we'll actually do some Q&A and go through the chat. I try to respect the guests and just respect the conversation to flow instead of just like jumping into the chat and trying to answer that and keep it going. I'd rather just have it flow. So, Kathy, for those folks that may not know you from my side of the world, who are you? What you been up to? And how's it going?
Oh, wow. That's a loaded question for me right now. What have you been up to? That's a lot. Yeah. So my name's Kathy Chambers. I currently run Kathy Chambers Media, where I do videos, podcasts, live events, pretty much in every industry. But my main focus is cybersecurity, mainly because that's where my biggest community is. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. But excited to be here. Also, just recently partnered with Pat on ISP Security, where I will be the person kind of building the relationships and helping get clients in the door. So that's going to be a fun adventure. And yeah, what have I been up to? I am in the entrepreneur stage, just getting off the ground. So it's a lot, and but I'm looking forward to it. And so far, so good. So that's just a little bit about me. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. Like I said, tonight's topic is going to be like starting a business in 2026, networking, getting ahead, and standing out, right? So you started a business, likewise. Um, you know, InfoSec Pat been around for quite a few years, but I wanted to actually put that to action, and that's why ISP stands for InfoSec Pat. For those people that don't know, because a lot of people say, "Oh, isn't that internet service provider?" Uh, yes, but and I didn't even think about it until I thought about it. So yeah, I'm so starting a business in 2026. Like I want to actually, obviously we can start out with that. Some of the talking points that I have here, starting a business in 2026, is easier to launch and harder to stand out, right? It's easy to go get an LLC, go get a bank account, get all that stuff. It takes some work, but why is it harder to like stand out, and why is it harder to, get the foot in the door for these clients, for yourself, myself, and the both of us?
Yeah, so I do want to mention the LLC, and I think a lot of people get hesitant to do that. Literally, you can do that in an hour. So if you're hesitant, about an hour there. My bank took like 2 hours, only because the lady who sat down with me really loved to talk, and she was like fascinated by everything that I was working on. So
Mm,
kind of, I get people to open up, and then that then you end up sitting at places for a really long time. But that part's super easy. And with Pat, he had to go get all the proper insurance to start ISP Security.
hmm
Maybe one day of trying to find the right lawyers, one day of actually getting the documents ready. So maybe 2 to 3 days altogether. So really within, I would say, like 2 to 5 days, you
hmm
can get a business off the ground, like
hmm
that part. But to Pat's question, it is hard to stand out right now, because a lot of us are at that point where we are doing our own thing, right? Like, be the CEO of you. Like, we are ready to go out there and do our own thing. And so we are competing with a lot of other people ready to do their own thing. That's one hard part. The
hmm
second hard part for me is that I have been working for other people for so long that now that I am on my own, I now have to prove to people who don't know me that
hmm
I know what I'm doing, right? So
hmm
that is the downside of not jumping into starting your own business sooner in life, because I've went, 15, 20 years now working for other people. So
hmm
now it's like, who do I need to talk to say, hey, I know what I'm doing? Fortunately, I have all these references, but now all these people out in the world don't know my references, right? So it's like this vicious cycle, but I wouldn't trade it. I've only been, my own business started in November. So what am I on, month 3?
hmm
And it's a lot, but like, I love it. Like, I wake up every day hungry and eager and contacting people and emailing people and creating content and working with clients. Like, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super good. And I want to touch on something, right? Like this is because I took some notes. I'm not gonna lie, I took some notes before. It's like, oh, okay, what are some good talking points? And I came up with this because obviously over the last couple of weeks, I've noticed this by reaching out. You and I got on some calls with, potential partners. So something I want to say is like people don't buy services anymore. They buy people, brands, and proof, right? So what does that mean in my opinion? Like people like us or whomever, like the brand, like, make sure that person is reputable. And that's why I had to nip a few things in the butt about a week and a half ago on LinkedIn. And then the proof, right? The proof to the pudding, right? Like, can you do what you say you can do?
Yep.
And I think that's super, super true because the services, like there's a million pen testing companies, there's probably a million media companies, there's a million of every single company, right? Like, and in my opinion, you don't need perfection, right? At the end of the day, you just need like a clear offer, like, and like a real problem that you're solving. If it's in our case, maybe compliance or security services or whatever the case may be, and then like a fast like feedback loop. So that's something that building this business is stuff that I'm trying to clarify and make my own, because this is all new to me, right? Like you said, I've been working for myself I worked for someone else for so long, and going on my own is definitely, it's cool, but it's a lot of work, So
Yeah,
I guess
showing your work. I think I saw somebody say to point back to work I've done. I can do that. I will tell you though, the longer you're in something, when it comes to media, the longer you're in something, the better you get, right? And so some of the work that I did, I'm not proud of that anymore because I have evolved. I've gotten better. I know more now. Some of the work that I did in the past isn't cool now, right? Like now it's like you've got to do shorts. You've got to, you have the words on the screen, and you got to have fancy graphics. And like some of the stuff I did before doesn't show all of that, because now, like every year, that medium changes, right? And it's even like when somebody asks, like, you partnered with Pat, like that has nothing to do with what you're doing. Well, it does, right? Because I partnered with Pat to be business outreach, and that's what media does. So it's like a huge, it all comes together, right? It's one giant circle. So you have to show your work. So I'm excited because as I'm reaching out to people for ISP security, I'm also doing like, I can put media behind it. I can interview Pat. We can do some videos together and get that message out there. And now I'm doing two things, right? I'm helping mine and I'm helping Pat. So it's like super cool. And then every company has to have that now, right? Like, I used to work for Black Hills. I'm pretty sure when Black Hills started, John Strand wasn't like, oh, I should do some video shorts. He wasn't like thinking that right now. And so, but now it's a thing, right? Now you got to do webinars. You have to do videos. You have to do shorts, like no matter what industry you're in. Fortunately, Pat, you've done a lot of that already on YouTube. So you've been in that world.
Yeah. And I'm still not the best at it, right? I just, my thing with YouTube and media, and now you have to do shorts and captions on the screen, and then B-roll and all this stuff. The beautiful thing, because I've been asked even on my on my Instagram feed, oh, how do you do that? I use an application called Magic Cut. So Magic Cut, just like I put the little thing in there, and it automatically does the B-roll. I don't do that, And I'm going to be honest, I don't create my own B-roll and put the things. AI automatically does it. And I'll tweak a little stuff like where I want it to start and where I want it to finish. But that's like, very easy. I don't have to come up with that B-roll and feed it in. My edits on YouTube, I don't really edit, And that's why, like, it's really hard sometimes to, like, I guess for those people to really think about what goes into like YouTube and content creation. It's not easy. So
no. And your use of AI is smart, right? Yeah. Like using Descript or using what'd you say you use? I don't think I've used that. Magic
Magic Script.
I haven't used that one.
Yeah. And it's a paid thing. You just throw like your little reel, like your minute reel, and then it just like puts the B-roll in it. It's pretty good.
That's smart. But what you say is, I think somebody dropped in the chat about time consuming. It doesn't matter what you use. Everything takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right. So right now I'm editing a podcast. Some of you know Jerry Ozier. I work very closely with him with the Simply Cyber Media Group. And one of my jobs for him is, besides like producing podcasts and editing podcasts, I'm also a video reviewer. And just that takes a very long time. If you think about the average YouTube video is like 12 to 14 minutes, that's me watching X amount of videos for 14 minutes, marking down what the editor needs to change. The editor changes it. I go back, I watch it again. Another 14 minutes, pausing, starting. Like there's nothing that's easy. That's why I say, like in cybersecurity, if you guys are thinking about getting into cyber, none of it's easy. It's all hard. There is no quick path to being in cyber. So everything takes a long time. It just takes a lot of work. But you can cut that time sometimes in half if you just grind. You just got to be ready to work.
Yeah. And there's, still on the same topic of starting the business. I wanted to talk about why do you think people overthink about LLCs, logos, websites, instead of actually going out and getting the clients? Because that I did that, right? I was like, oh, I have to get an LLC. I have to do my logo. Thanks to you, AI did my logo. I didn't, this logo right here, thanks to Kathy, she put it through some AI thing and it generated. And then then the website, right? That was all my priority. But I've heard people say, oh, you should worry about getting clients. But then I was like, okay, if I get Joe Blow, the client, then they're going to ask me, okay, what's the first thing that I do? Maybe you do as well. And the people watching, they probably look for a website. How's the website?
100%.
How's the online presence? And I didn't have that at the time. So I couldn't do stuff a little backwards. But why do you think people overthink all that stuff? Did you overthink it? I did, but.
I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I just jump into things. So no, I did not overthink it. But I had a fun fact. I don't know if it's fun. Actually, it's not a fun story because it's a sad ending, but I tried to launch a business in 2020. And that's when I learned how easy it was to set up an LLC. But we all know what happened, right? So I launched my business a few months into it. COVID hits and I literally lost all of my job, within a week. Everybody canceled because nobody wanted to be by each other. I was doing conferences. For those of you who go to a lot of cyber conferences, you remember everything went virtual. Even in the production world at that time, people knew how to go live from conferences, but they didn't know how to do it well. So it was just kind of a weird time. And so I went back to work, and I'll be damned if I didn't stay working for somebody again. This time for 5 years before I was like, no, why did I do that? So I'm jumping back in. So, but to your point, I think a lot of people overthink things because that's just part of their nature. I've met a lot of people who overthink things and who overcomplicate things, and you just have to keep it simple.
Yep.
Right. And, I tell everybody, you write a list. Right. So day 1, get LLC. Day 2, look for insurance. Day 3, reach out to X amount of clients. But you can't just make the list. You got to stick to it. And sometimes people struggle with that too. Getting clients is hard though.
No, I know that. And it's funny because I just made a video, didn't get a lot of views because it's not hackerish, but it was how to stay consistent. And there's 7 rules that I go by, and I have it written, and I have it on my phone in my notes. I go by these 7 rules and I try to stay on point. When I was studying for certifications, I need to do this, do this, do that. And it really helps me stay on track. So having a consistent, a list, like you said, okay, day 1, do this, day 2, day 3, but executing on it. Because I was talking about going to the gym, right? I can say I'm going to the gym. Even I go to the gym, but if I don't do anything at the gym, then you're not going to see any results, right? So I think that's super important, having some consistency and an execution plan.
Yeah.
And
yeah. And I think I guess if you guys know me, I'm always about real talk. right?
Yeah.
Real honesty. And
Mm-hmm.
I always say, like, how bad do you want it? Like, do you want to start a business because it sounds like, oh, maybe I'll start a business?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you really want it? And it's the same thing getting into cybersecurity. So I've been in the community for a while. I think I'm going on 4 years, maybe 4 years, at least 4 years. I've been in the cybersecurity community.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people that I met 4 years ago that still haven't advanced in their careers. Why? Because they just like to talk about it. Like, oh, I wish I was so and so. Oh, I wish I worked there. Oh, I wish. No, you don't. You don't wish that. 4 years ago, you told me that. You are
Yeah.
still in the same place. And it's the same thing with starting a business. You can wish and you can dream and you can think, but until you do it, or at least try, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pat and I have talked about this. Hey, let's try it.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't work out, we'll pivot. We'll do
Yep.
something else, but you got to try.
Yeah.
So that's my real talk is like, if you are still in the same place you were 4 years ago, that's fine. If you're happy, awesome. But if you have talked about wanting to move up and you haven't, that's on you.
Mm-hmm. No, 1,000%. Yeah, that's real talk. Keeping a buck. You know what I mean? Like that's super, super important because at the end of the day, like we have to keep moving. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm going to probably talk about this in Telecon when I keynote and talking about my life, and I don't want to get too much off track but like same thing, like if I wanted to stay complacent and use one of my New Year's resolutions, and I'll make that. And if you guys haven't noticed it, I'm trying to down the profanity. So trying my best. So hopefully I keep to my
I'm really proud of you. I mean,
my
how many
promise.
minutes are we in?
Yeah,
I think I
17.
cursed before you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like my upbringing wasn't the best, right? And I embrace it. Like I love my parents, I love my family, but it's not it's not my fault that I was born in the situation I was born into. And if I wanted to cop out or do like something like use an excuse because of my past, that would have been an easy way to like, I want to go get high. I want to go rob. I'll end up in a joint, blah, 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 because it was the easy way because that's the path everyone else in not everyone, but like the majority of my family went to. So it's like the get rich quick scheme, you make a quick dollar, but tomorrow it's all gone because you're going to get high, you know?
Right.
So, like, that's why I'm like, I never wanted to be like that. And that's till this day, like my drug is like green tea. Yeah, maybe I'll get some diabetes one day. Fuck it. Screw it.
Not from
But
green tea. I think you're all right.
but like that's why I don't drink, and that's why I never, did any drugs. Fun fact. But yeah, let's pivot into like the next topic is networking, right? Like networking in 2026, and it's not about I want to touch on this. Like I don't think it's about like collecting contacts. Like even when I go to a conference, I can get your business card. I can go get you scan on LinkedIn and be a connection. But if I want to connect with you and never converse with you, just like leave it on the side. And, I have a few business cards that I've, here that I've collected over a few conferences that I've went to. And what do? I like every week and a half, 2 weeks, two of these people I spoke to. So after I talk to you on a camera, I'm not going to bombard you. Like maybe a couple weeks later, I'll be like, hey, I'm just checking in. How's everything doing? Do you want to make a follow-up chat or whatever? But like executing that. And, networking at the end of the day is just no longer just shake a hand. It's about being visible
Yep.
and consistency, right?
Yeah,
And consistent.
it's right back to being consistent and putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
That really ties into my whole cybersecurity story, like
Mm-hmm.
how I got in. I know a lot of people watching right now knows kind of that story about. So I'll summarize it because I know a lot of you are like, oh, that story again. But I started working for IT Pro TV, and which a lot of you know that they use training company with Daniel Lowry, Wes Bryan, Anthony Sequeira, Ronnie Wong, some of the greats of IT Pro TV. So when I was working there, I got asked to host a show with Daniel Lowry, and we hosted CEH, which is some of you guys have that certification. And we were in the studio for days because that is a lot. The certification's brutal. I don't know why anybody gets it. Like it's a lot of information. So anyway, but I fell in love with cyber through that process of learning a lot from Daniel. And I'm like, I love cybersecurity. Absolutely love it. Now, I loved it for the drama, for the stories that happen within cyber. Like, I love that side of it, right? The storytelling side. And I told Daniel, I was like, hey, we're going to do a show, which Pat, you were on the show, all things cybersecurity. So I produced that show. And I said, dude, who do I need to get to know to make this show work? Because the show's not going to work. Like, we all love Daniel, but and his show's great. But that particular show, we needed the right people so people would tune in. And he starts like naming all these people. And he's like, oh, you need to know Tim Medina of Red Seeds. You need to know Mike Saunders of Red Seeds. You need to know John Strand. You need to know Jerry Ozier. And I'm like frantically writing this down. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know any of these guys, like none of them, right? Yeah. When you are new to cyber, and John Hammond, right? When you're new to cyber, you don't know who that is. I would not know John Hammond in the airport, like at that time of my life. And now I think about it, I'm like, that's crazy. Who doesn't know John Hammond? But like at that point in my life, I didn't know anybody. So I'm writing everybody down, and I like challenges. And somebody said to me, good luck getting those people on the show. Now, I did not know how nice the cybersecurity community was, but I took that as a challenge. And I was like, challenge accepted. And so I went through the list, and I booked all 10 of them. All 10 people that he gave me said yes. Now, to the networking part. I could have very easily had them on the show, and then that was the last communication I had with them. But that's not what I did. I had them on the show, and then to Pat's point, like I followed up. Hey, thanks for being on the show. A few months later, hey, how are things going? I saw your interview with such and such. You did an awesome job, right? Commenting on what you are watching, commenting on their content, making it known that you see them. Hey, I see you. You're doing awesome things in the community. That's literally... And it took 2 years of me doing that, like 2 years of me just commenting and just talking to people and going to conferences and saying, hey, I saw your talk. Hey, I think you're great at this, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's a lot of work, but man, is it worth it, right? Man, like when I was ready to leave ACI Learning before the shutdown, I saw Zach Hill at a conference at HackSpaceCon. Zach was like, we need you. I'm like, cool, I'm available. Right? The next week I got a call and I got a job. That wasn't like, somebody said one day, oh, you're so lucky. You got lucky that you got the job at Anti-Siphon. And I was like, oh God, that was not luck. That was not luck. That was like years of conversations and reaching out to people and talking to people. Fortunately, I just like to do it. Some people don't. So, I have the gift of gab, which that's why Pat's not even getting to talk, because it's not even his show anymore, y'all. I took over. Thirsty Thursdays is now Thirsty Thursdays with Kathy Chambers.
No, I think all of that is super, super. And I remember coming on, and it was funny because, going back to my New Year's resolution, one of them is, try not to curse. And like that show, I remember when, I think it was Daniel, like, hey guys, just profanity might drop, keep your ears. And, obviously if I get worked up and I get going, like, I don't think, like if I try to filter it, I try to process it, I can hold it back. But for the most part, I try.
That was my first impression of you.
Yeah. Yeah, because we didn't really know each other. It's like, who the hell?
Like, I knew of you, but I didn't know. And I was like in the control room, like mouth open, because I was so worried about the CEO seeing it. And I was like, oh God.
Yeah, like, where the hell
did you get this? And if they ask who booked this guy, they're going to say it's Kathy's.
Where did you guys get this hoodlum?
But it's also Daniel Lowry's fault, right? He likes to get people all going and, wound up. So we can blame a little bit of it on him.
Dan.
But dude, man, I am proud of you.
Yeah,
this is a great New Year's resolution for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. And I need to catch up with him. I hit him up the other day, so hopefully he's doing good. I'm glad he's landed something. He's doing good. But yeah, just like Kathy said, right? Like the goal wasn't just to reach out to people, And I mean, the goal wasn't just to have that person just reach out and say, thank you for your time. It's like a relationship with a follow up. Because I think at the end of the day, like, what do people, at least what do I remember, right? Like, who did you help? Like, people help people. Who followed up? Who actually followed up and said, like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What's doing? And then who shows up consistently? That's what it really, really boils down to. And I think, that's when your network grows, is when you begin to ask yourself, like, what can I do different, or what can I do to participate and contribute? And then, I remember when I first started my journey, and even on LinkedIn, I didn't change my name on LinkedIn. I didn't have my government name anywhere really, right? I used to use my name in Italian, and then my biological mom's last name. And just because I didn't want people to know who I was and what I'm about, because I knew how easy it was just to go out there and do some recon. I'm not at Michelle's level of OSINT, but I knew a little bit of OSINT that and then I own homes, and I'm like, at least in the state of Florida, this might go a little off the rails. If you show up, we're allowed to shoot you. So don't show up on anyone's lawn here in the state of Florida, because you will get shot. Just putting it out there. Everyone has guns. So be careful. Be careful who you mess with in the state of Florida. Maybe there's other states too, but Florida is always on the news for the craziness, right? I thought New York was bad. Florida is way worse.
That's pretty bad. Worse than New York.
Yeah, it's worse, because I think in New York, like, you have to conceal. You have to be, sneaky with your pistols. I never carried a gun in New York. I just carried just knives and blades, but because it was easy to get. But yeah, here everyone now with the whole open carry, now you can just walk around with an AR on your, around.
It's insane.
It's crazy. It's like the Wild Wild West. But yeah, so going back, like, your network grows when you give back to the community. I think is really, really what it's about.
Yeah, so, and it just I think I saw Joe Hudson on there. Hi, Joe. It comes back like tenfold, right? Like when you start to help people, and you start to give back to the community gives back to you. And so maybe not at first, right? Like I had somebody say to me, I was talking about how awesome the community is, and she wrote me privately, and she's like, I disagree. She's like, I did not have that experience. And I'm like, well, you're in the wrong community. Right. And so like, I invited her, like, come to like, come visit Simply Cyber community, hang out with us in the mornings, get to know the right people, because unfortunately she got in with the wrong people and then got turned off from cyber. Well, maybe I don't want to be in cyber anymore because XYZ made me feel stupid. Okay. Well, that was bad luck, because that's not how most people are in this community. So to my point of what I was trying to say is, like, keep giving and it'll come back. And I don't know how, and I don't know when, and I don't know how long, but I will tell you that it was 2 years of not like, this getting a little sentimental, but it was like 2 years of really no love back, which is okay, right? I wasn't in it to be loved. But boy, when it was like came back, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so that's why I come on these shows. That's why I'm always on LinkedIn. That's why I'm always sending personal messages to people of encouragement, because it does come back at some point. It will come back to you.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And yeah, there is those people. And obviously, like, man, like the whole thing about making fun of people and saying you're too stupid, like, I can resonate with that because I grew up with a learning disability, right? Like, I effed people up growing up. If you make fun of me, you're going to have no teeth in your mouth. But like, and it has happened, like, all jokes aside, like I've done some crazy stuff in my life. I don't want to really make public, but like, and it happened recently, right? Like, I never knew when I was 37 years old, I'm going to put a guy's head through the wall. Right. And because of my learning disability, is something I have to deal with every single day. And someone's going to make fun of it. I want to find you and I want to hurt you, and that's what happened. So it's like, You
Don't
know,
worry, everybody. He's working on that in 2026 too.
yeah, anger management. I'm not even an
Anger
angry
management.
person.
You're not an angry person.
No, I'm
You're
like
not
the
an angry
nicest
person.
person.
They just hit a nerve. They hit that
Yeah,
one nerve. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so, you know, you can really irk someone and trigger someone, and you can end up in a coffin. So
Mm,
just be careful and just don't screw with people's lives and make fun of people or whatever. Like, you never know what people are going through you know, behind a camera or behind a computer or whatever. Just keep your
yeah.
head up, and you don't want to be, you know, almost said a curse word, like, you don't want to keep your head on a swivel. You know what I
Right.
mean? Keep your head straight, and you'll be straight. You know what I mean? Keep it a buck.
Yeah. And I
So,
think, yeah. And I would encourage people, like, if you encounter that in cyber, like the wrong crowd, just find another one.
hmm
So I've been to cybersecurity conferences, and you'll see that we all kind of stand in circles, right? We have our
hmm
circles. Please come into the circle if you see
yeah,
me. I literally had somebody, Nick Barker, like not talk to me because he said I looked too busy, and I was so mad at him for a full year until I saw him at the next conference. He was like,
hmm
"You look too busy." I am never too busy to say hi, so please come say hi. But anyway, there's like circles, right? So if you get into a circle and you don't vibe, you don't have to stay.
hmm
Go find another circle, because I will tell you, as a woman in cyber who's not on the technical side of cyber,
hmm
it's like there are some people who are like, well, you probably don't understand this, but oh, I bet you don't know. And then they like start the conversation. Dude, I end that conversation so fast and just move on. Because first of all, I do know a lot
hmm
because I'm on the media side. I have to. I
hmm
have to know what I'm talking about. No, I cannot do a pen test, right? Like I'm not going to hack anybody, right? Like I'm not going to go, audit people. But that's not the point. The point is like, don't talk down to people like that. Please
hmm
don't do that. Please don't start your sentences off like that. Ugh.
yeah, yeah,
But anyway, find another circle. There are a lot of good people in this community. Find a new
yeah, for
crowd.
sure, for sure. Yeah, I just, that really, you know, works me up when people try to, you know, discredit people or make fun of people, or just, you know, it's just not cool. You know what I mean? So don't do it. And I know I've said this, it probably sound like a broken record, but just like, and if you do talk smack, be prepared to get slapped. You know what I mean? Don't be like, oh, why'd you do that?
I'm
You
just going
know?
to send people to you.
Yeah. Like they say, no face, no
That's
case,
like my
right? Just make
personal
sure you
bodyguard.
mask up. That's what I was always taught. And my father used to always say that, right? Just never get caught, you know, just no face, no case, wear gloves, no,
Oh,
you know, like
goodness.
I grew up like that, but I grew up different than a lot of these nerds. But, so
I
yeah.
do
And the
serve
next,
nerds in a loving way, everybody, just so you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a nerd too, in some sense, like, and, I never use nerd as like oh, you're like I don't know, maybe nerd for me is just like a softie, you know, and my head's like someone that's soft. But yeah, like, so the next thing we're talking about, like getting ahead, right? That's another thing that we wanted to touch on. So why do you think people fall behind in 2025, 2026? Like, why do you think that is something that people don't get ahead? They stay complacent or they fall back.
Um, I think emotionally it can be really tough. Um, I think that, I know I got on my soapbox earlier about people not really wanting it.
Mm-hmm.
Only because there are several people in our community who don't really, don't really want it.
Mm-hmm.
And they just need to, realize that, or just say, I'm happy where I am.
Yep.
But there are people who want it who still can't get there. And I think a lot of it is emotional. I've met so many people in cyber who are burned out. They're exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, don't believe the hype. You're not making six figures after 2 certs. You know, you're starting out at maybe 65 if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And that's being lucky. And it takes forever to hit the 6-figure mark. And then now, with the economy that we live in, 6 figures ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that, it ain't what it used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think like this is kind of like the emotional side and the state of the economy. Things just kind of suck right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that part of it, it's hard to get ahead because it's hard to find strength and motivation to keep going when
Mm-hmm.
it feels like everything around you is on fire.
Yep.
That's the Debbie Downer side.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
then the other side is, and Pat, you could probably relate to this, there's just too much in cyber.
Mhm.
I think people have trouble getting ahead because they're having trouble focusing on where they're going to go.
Direction. Yep.
Right, the direction. They're like, "Oh, okay, I'm going to be a blue teamer. Oh, no, I don't really like that. Okay, I'm going to go to red team. Oh, no, I don't really like that. Oh, I saw Michelle Khan. What he does with OSINT's pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay, now I'm going to go take an OSINT course." And so it's really hard to get ahead because you're kind of all over the place, and that's not on you. That's on all of us.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're just like throwing all this information,
Mhm.
but it's up to you to kind of pick your path. And
Mhm.
I think that's tough for some people.
Yeah. No, most definitely. Like you nailed it. Focus, direction, consistency. And I think it all boils down to, and I have consistency written on here because that's a recent video I made. And like, it all boils down to that, in
Yeah.
my opinion, because everyone wants to what? Get rich quick scheme, get, fast wins and
Mhm.
very
Dude, I
few
still watch
commits.
those videos. I'm not gonna lie. I watched a video the other day about like how to make 6 figures in 6 months or whatever. And then because it's clickbait. I click on the clickbait sometimes.
Yeah.
And then I was
Likewise.
like so frustrated by the end of the video.
Yeah.
Like, this is bull crap. You're lying. This is not
Yeah.
real life.
And I think was I telling you? I think I told a few people, like a friend of mine, it was so crazy, right? Because, this is off topic, but like, what is it? Feet Finder or Feet Viewer or
Oh
whatever.
my gosh, yes.
And then like that story I told you, right? Like a friend of mine from high school, make a long story short, like she's she's a good looking girl. And, her gay friend was taking, like every time she got her nails done or her feet done, he would be like, "Hey, honey, take a picture and send a video." And he was using her feet to make money on Feed Finder,
Awful.
and he was making like $6 to $8 grand a month, off of her feet.
Oh my
And
god.
it's like, what the hell?
What is
No,
this world we live in though? Like,
yeah.
like
I was like, and the funny thing is, like,
oh man.
I guess, like, I don't know, maybe because I'm not a girl, but maybe she like shared it with one of her friends, and it got back around to her. And then she confronted him. She's like, "Oh, if you wanted to make some money, at least share it with me. It's my freaking feet." You know what I mean? So I was like, "Man, that's a good idea." You know
That
what I mean?
story is wild. That is a
It
wild
was
story.
nuts. Like,
Dude, I'm never sharing like a pedicure picture with my friends again. Like after you told me that story, I was like, oh my God.
yeah. And I was like, "Damn." And then, like, I ended up going on Feet Finder because I was just like so curious to see, man, there's some nasty feet out there.
Dude, why did you just admit that? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I was like, damn, people pay to see these things. Yeah, you got some
Yeah.
issues. Yeah. So, so, so just staying on this get ahead, right? So don't get ahead by stealing people's feet pics. Trust me, don't do that.
This is such educational programming tonight.
Yeah.
Oh
And
man, we didn't say it wasn't going to be entertaining.
yeah, I
Yeah.
always, and the thing is, I never have anything scripted because I think if scripted, it defeats the purpose. But like, and then another thing I want to say, like on this getting ahead, right? Like most people quit before they even start or the momentum really hits,
Yeah. Mhm.
right? And I think that's a big one too. And I think enjoying the journey is super,
Mm.
super key.
Nobody talks
Like,
about that.
yeah, enjoy the journey. Because I think I have like a thing. Let me see, what is it?
That's a powerful statement in cyber.
I don't know where it is.
Because it's so hard. And I also kind of along those lines enjoy the journey. I think it's okay to take a break,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm not saying like, leave your job tomorrow or anything like that. Take your vacation time. That's what
Yep.
it's there for.
Mm-hmm.
Take it, turn off the computer, turn off your cell phone, like step away and then remember why you got into cyber in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
There was a reason. What was that reason? Sometimes you just have to step away and reset and think of why you took that step. So, and listen, guys, you guys have worked way too hard to quit now. Like, I can't imagine like being 3-4 years down the line and just be like, nope, I'm done. Like, I'm throwing in the towel after you've done all of this work.
Mm-hmm.
I think you just need a break, right? You just need to reset. But
Yeah. And FedEx, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think he gave her a few bucks out of that.
back
I don't
to
think,
the feet.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Noah, I'll get to your question in a bit. There's a few more things I want to touch on. So the next one is like standing out in a crowd, right? In a crowded market. And this is a real deal, right? This is a real game out there. It's like, standing out isn't about being the loudest and being the most visible or whatever. It's about being clear and concise. Is that the word? Concise? Like be like very accurate with your statements and with your stuff. Because at the end of the day, like, and I'm the first one to admit it, like I'm not the best, at what I do. I know people way, way better than me. Right. So you don't need to be the best. You just need to be known.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I like your point
really
of like, not having to be the loudest, right? Like, I'm the loudest. Like, just doesn't say it, right? Like you see me at a conference, it's me. You probably hear me across the conference hall. Like everybody's like, oh, I heard you laugh from a mile away. I'm the loudest. But I don't have to be, right? There are other things that I can do not to be so loud. And one of them is, and this is something you guys can do tomorrow. I started a newsletter on LinkedIn. I've been meaning to start a newsletter on LinkedIn for a really long time, but time gets in the way, jobs get in the way, whatever. And I was like, I have to do this. One, it's a great stress reliever to sit down and write out your feelings, right? It's also very helpful for the community that you can give back what you've learned throughout your journey, right? Like that's a great way to show your work. You're always talk about build a home lab, get a GitHub, blah, 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 right? This is just another avenue, another way that you can quietly show your work. So I launched that newsletter on Monday, and I was telling my Discord friends, my goal on Monday was in 7 days, I want to get 100 subscribers. That was my goal. I thought that was a very realistic goal. 1 week, 100 subscribers. I'm on day 4 and I'm over 700.
Sick. That's awesome.
That's not to brag. It's just to kind of encourage you that I didn't do anything flashy. Like somebody asked, like, what'd you do to stand out? I didn't do anything flashy. I was real. I was authentic. I was myself. I put myself out there. Like that's what you have to do. And to Pat's point, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be Kathy. You don't have to go on all these podcasts and be like the center of the room. You don't have to do all that. But you do have to do something. Whether it's writing, whether it's like just making a post, whether it's commenting on other people's posts. Something for people to see you and hear you and just see your name. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah. No, most definitely. You know what I mean? Because like you're saying, you're following, or the people follow like the real journeys, your newsletter. It doesn't have to be perfection. It just has to be, real. And another way, to maybe stand out practically, like if we're talking about cybersecurity, we can touch on that. Like you said, share your home lab, share your journey, share your stuff that you're learning. And, like Tyler Ramsby, I remember when I first seen him, like he was doing his live streams and he was trying to get into the game. I think when he did like his OSCP, he had his little Work Smarter. I think it was called Work Smarter before it was Hack Smarter. He had it with one of his mates. And I think that kid passed away or whatever. I think his name was Nate or something like that. And then he built this community up, and he would stream and showcase his stuff. And there's other people too that's doing it, like Kaiser Clark. And there's others, that I can't really think about right now that did that, and that would help them land a job. Like, Tyler landed a job with Rhino. Now he's doing his own thing. Kaiser landed a job with, I think, his kid's Patrick or something. I forget the company he's working for. And Paul, if you're still on here, I hit up Kaiser and he hit me back. So he's all Gucci. So if you were, I don't know if you hit him up, but he's doing good. Talked to him the other day. He's alive. And so like document your mistakes, right? Lessons, wins, all that shebang. And I think be specific instead of just like just fake. Just be generic. Not generic. Genuine. Yeah, genuine. Because authentic, whatever.
It's really hard to say. It's all right.
Authenticity.
Yes, it's super hard. I have to think about it. Yeah, there's several words I have to like think about before I say.
Yeah, it's like the new competitive adventure, right? Like you have to be real, and like people resonate with your realness. And that's what I think helped me, like me personally, I think people either love me or hate me. I don't think there's really any middle ground with me. I don't know if it's because I just say it how it is. Now I'm just going to be more cautious because my own like challenges for myself, with my words I use. But I'm still not going to let you walk all over me. You know what I mean? I still,
No.
slap you in the head if I had to. But yeah. So, and then what time is it? Yeah, we have 15 minutes. So that like this is the last topic, and then we can wrap it up and answer some questions. Is mindset shift, right? So where do you think, like like for an example, I would say like stop stop waiting for permission,
Yeah.
right? And this was something that, man, I had a conversation with my father, like I don't know, 6-7 months ago or whatever, and I was in New York. Maybe it was longer than that. I was talking to him just before he had heart surgery, and I'm like, man, like I hate that I have to like raise my hand to go take a poop, And what does that mean, right? Like that means if I want to go to a conference, I have to ask for permission. And I felt like I'm X years old now. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want to be like, hey, can I go? I'm going to say I'm going to go because you're not going to run my life,
Sure.
right? So it's like, this is the mindset shift that I came like, no one's going to, stop me from doing what I want to do anymore,
Yeah.
no matter what. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, just kind of piggyback off that. I think you have to decide when you've had enough, right? And decide like what's your worth and that you're worth it, right? So every job that I've ever left, not every job I've ever left, but a lot I left because I outgrew where I was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Like I think a lot of people feel guilty to move on. That's my next newsletter, by the way, is about quitting your job. But I think you have to realize at some point that you're better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like everybody tells me all the time that they battle with imposter syndrome. And I'm like, do you feel like are you better than where you are? Because here's the thing. It doesn't mean you're saying I'm better than everybody else I work with. You're
Mm-mm.
not saying that. You're saying I'm better than this situation. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, for example, I grew up, my family didn't have a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I was never depressed about the fact that we didn't have a lot of money because in my mind, I thought I am better than this situation. And
Mm-hmm.
I will be better than this situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I will go to college, I will have a career. And I constantly had that in my mind. Now, I could have done the opposite and I could have felt sorry for myself and I could have stayed living in podunk towns and I could have worked at, the Dairy Queen, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I kept saying to myself, I'm better than this situation. I never said I'm better than everybody that lives in my town because
Yeah.
that wasn't true, but I was better than the situation. So if you get to a point where you are in that kind of mindset, right? I can't do this. I'm not good enough. Bullcrap,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're probably better than the situation.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on
And
another soapbox again.
no, I think that's
Yeah.
cool. And that's something that I just wrote it down so I don't forget. Like, that's like, something that you need to do is like stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone's chapter
Sure.
20.
100%.
Right. Because, and like you're saying, like, you can't get these 10 people on your roster because they're too quote unquote busy or whatever the hell, the
Yeah.
people at IT Pro TV thought that you couldn't get these people because whatever. It's like, I'm not going to compare, me personally, like, use John Hammond. We can, John, I love John. And like, I'm not going to compare myself to him because, he has 2 million subscribers and he's like in TV shows and he's on the news and I'm
He
not.
has great hair.
Yeah, he does have. And that's how my dad's hair is. And it's funny because my dad's 60. He's a redhead as well. I have 3 redheads in my family. I'm surprised my daughter didn't come out with red hair. It was funny. And then my dad has no grays and he's 60. I have more grays than him. So I don't know if red doesn't just go gray. I don't know. So John, if you listen, if you ever hear this,
I did read that, by the way.
say it
That
again.
red doesn't. Yeah, I read that red does not go gray. I did read that like recently. I read the most random stuff, so then I sound really smart when somebody says something.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and then the next thing I want to say before we wrap up and answer some questions is like the gap between where you are and where you want to be is an action, right? So that's something like where I used to say this in other ways, like when I used to bowl, I still bowl, not as much as I used to, but like that's something I was really good at, right? Like I can say I will whip you in bowling, right? Bowling was my thing. I made a lot of money bowling. I paid college bowling, until I broke my back. If I didn't break my back, I would have probably never been here. I would have been a bowler. But and I don't even know where's my. I have a couple of these, but this one stays on my count. I have 37,300 rings. I'm a bowler, man.
I knew you bowled. I didn't know that you were to that level.
Yeah,
a whole new level of bowler.
Yeah. I bowl, and it's funny because probably like 2 years ago, I went with a couple of friends that came down here a couple from New York, and then like a couple of my IT friends, and they wanted to go bowling, and I'm thinking, man, like I don't like to go bowling with people that don't bowl. That's something me. If you don't bowl, I'm not
like golfing with people who don't golf.
Yeah.
Right.
And then one of my friends, like in the group chat, he's like, "Hey, I'm only gonna bowl if we bowl for $100 a game."
Oh wow.
And I'm like, "Oh shit, like this is serious." I'm like, I'll put it up for 500. I was like, because this I know I'll win. You know what I mean? There's no doubt about it. And then like my friend Chris is like, "You want to bet 500? I'll up it to 1,000." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not gonna rob your money." You know what I mean? If you really want to do $500 a game, because usually you bowl like 3 to 4 games, right? And I was like, okay, everyone has to show their cash in the group chat that when you come down to Florida, like you have the money, because I'm not gonna leave my house to go to the house or to go to the bowling alley, because we call it a house. Real bowlers like, oh, what house you going?
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Look at this. I'm learning things today.
And they picked a house that had old wooden lanes. So I can get into a whole bowling thing, but like there's something called synthetic lanes and hardwood lanes. And synthetic lanes have more oil, and the oil doesn't dry up as quick if you throw a hook or throw overboard number 5 or whatever. And I was like, oh no, we have to go to this house, like this alley. And then, make a long story short, I won like $5,000 that night because everyone, because it was like 6 of us and $500 a game, and they really thought, and I came with my bowling ball and my shoes, like, what the hell? I'm like, no, you guys already committed. So everyone like 40 something $100. That was a fun night. I was like, so maybe I just gave my secret away. So
you can't go bowling, you can't hustle anybody. Don't hustle anybody in the chat. They know.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty much that. Let's see if there's any cool questions.
There was a cyber question. Let me.
And Noah has something here.
Okay.
I can throw this on it. How do you market yourself? What do you do to market yourself? How do you market yourself, and what do you do to market yourself? I guess you can go first, and then I'll go.
I'm a big believer in LinkedIn. I guess a lot of people know that, but I'm going to go back to what I said earlier about just keeping it real.
Mm-hmm.
And I, was talking to, I think Jerry or somebody about this the other day. I was like, I make a post about, so Pat, say you release a course, and I'll make this post, check out this course by InfoSec Pat, or I check out this, post by Jerry, blah, 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 blah. And there's like, maybe 10, 15 likes, like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I post myself at 2 a.m. after I finish writing a research paper, and it blows up because people want to see the real side of you. And that isn't just your successes, it's also your failures. And in cyber is a great one to share your failures because so many people can relate. Yep. So market yourself. It doesn't even have to be that hard. You make a post about, I worked on this last night, it crashed, blah, 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 because people love to chime in on that. And so I would say the first thing is just be yourself, be real, market yourself on LinkedIn by making posts. And I think the most important thing is commenting on other people's posts, making sure that you're engaging with other people. By you engaging with other people, you are marketing yourself. Long before I was Kathy Chambers on LinkedIn, somebody said to me like, "Oh, I just love that you're always commenting on other people's posts," and I didn't even know people noticed that, right? But people do. People notice that. So that's one way that you can market yourself. And then Pat, you can talk about the cyber side. I'm all about the social media side.
Yeah, no, most definitely. And obviously, to piggyback with Kathy was saying, yeah, most definitely. Do your LinkedIn, do your articles. Like Paul, he's always doing his articles on his OX3 security. Don't beat me up, Paul. I think it's OX3. Um, and then if you're getting into cyber, like Noah, like you're in cyber, right? If you want to try to get into that, start doing some. It all depends. Like if you're in blue team, red, offensive, defensive, etc. But just make little labs and showcase that. Or if you don't want to show your face, just do little videos or do little blog posts of your actual lab. Take pictures of your computer stuff or your lab, your networking stuff. I think that's the best way. And I did it by accident, right? Like I just started making videos because a couple of friends were like, we were studying for PCNSE from Palo Alto, and like I made some videos, and I started just making videos more and more. And I'm like, and I talked to my good friend Keith Barker, which is a CBT Nuggets instructor, and then I got some tips from him. I was like, hey, like I really want to make videos, better videos, like what is out there, what kind of applications, like OBS Studio. I didn't know what OBS Studio was. I was using, before I used OBS, I was using, started with a C, not Canva. I forget now what it's called, but Camtasia. I think it's Camtasia. And because Keith was like, hey, like at CBT Nuggets, we use Camtasia, and I was using Camtasia, and it was all good. And then I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then I tried to use OBS or Streamlabs or something like that. And then, I just started tinkering with different ones. I'm still not the best with it. I'm going to be honest. Like I blew up my OBS the other day and I couldn't figure out how to get the scenes back. And I'm still, if anyone is good with OBS, please reach out. Yeah, that's always the best way to market and just showcase your stuff. So good stuff. Noah, any other questions?
I feel like there was
let's see. NeoFetch. What do you expect from IT market in general and from cybersecurity in particular over the next few years? Ooh.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah,
you can take that one.
Yeah, I'll take that one. So what do you expect in the IT market? So me personally, like everyone's saying AI, right? AI is the new hot topic. I don't think it's going to take cybersecurity jobs. I think it's just going to increase the ability to take quicker action. In IT, yeah, MSPs, I love all my MSP owners, and I actually just talked to a good friend of mine the other day. I'm going to probably start and partner up with him. And he owns an MSP in South Florida. And he's just like, yeah, in 10 years, MSPs are going to be gone, right? Yeah, he was like, MSPs, like the fact, the regular troubleshooting, the basic troubleshooting that MSPs do, especially everything going to the cloud, automation, stuff like that. Like it's, and he's doing some automation already. Like I think he was saying he had like 37 employees. Now he's down to like 25. Right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, he's gradually getting rid of that. But from the cybersecurity perspective, I think it's just going to keep increasing. I don't think cybersecurity or security is going anywhere. We're still going to need, if you connect to the internet, you're still going to need to be secure. Yeah. That's just my opinion. So I think it's just going to evolve. I don't think AI.
Yeah, and threat actors aren't backing down.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Russian and Chinese hacker groups aren't sitting there being like, oh, we're going to give USA a break for a little bit. Yeah, they ain't doing that. They're ramping up. They're growing. They're organized. There are full businesses that are being formed just to attack us. So yeah, it's not going anywhere. I think cybersecurity is a great place to be right now, even if you're just getting started. Pat, did I lose you? Am I by myself? It's a dream come true. Taking over Thirsty Thursdays all by myself. All by myself. All right. Well, I can't close out the show, so I don't have that power. Let's see. I'll start taking questions. How's that? Just a comment, but it's so strange that in this field of work is one where has to market themselves to get work. On some level, it makes you question the value of education. That's a great comment.
Which one?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's not a question. It's a comment that it's, I'm going to rephrase it, and, he can correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm thinking is like saying that there used to be, back in the olden days, you got a degree and you got a job. That's it. You got a degree and you got a job. Or you got your foot in the door, you had 1 year experience and you got a job. Or you did paper applications. Remember those? I filled out dozens, probably hundreds of paper applications, because in my day, that's what we did. You didn't apply online. You literally filled out a paper application, found the manager, handed it in, right? But now that's not enough. Like, that's not even like close to being enough. You can't just have a degree. You can't just fill out an application. It is 100% of this is who I am. And for some people that sucks. But that's where we are. Like, you do have to market yourself. You can't just get a job. You can't just walk in and get a job anymore. It's tough for sure. There was a cyber question that I did not want to miss. It's straw hat sec.
Straw hats.
This is a question for you. I'll just say it if you can't find it. It says, it's Jazz from LinkedIn. I'm 50% done with the CPTS.
Okay.
What can I do to go after a junior pen tester role or a vulnerability management job?
Oh, I see it right here.
Yeah. What can...
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. So, hey, Jazz, what's up? That's awesome that you're 50% through CPTS. It is a very, very long path. So kudos to that. So what can you do after to get a junior? So in my opinion, you're 50% through, right? So what I would do if I was you, like, just like we talked about networking and reaching out and commenting and showcasing some stuff, like every time you finish a module, make sure you share it on LinkedIn, say, hey, like, and what did you learn on that module, right? Like, oh, I learned about co-browsing, and this is what I learned, and this is where I was really stuck. I overcame it doing X, Y, Z, or like I aced it because I really understood it, and whatever. Like web app stuff, I'll be like, oh, I got stuck with this because this is not where I'm really good at, but then this is what I learned about that. But CPTS was a really fun one, and then go start look for like your favorite companies that you follow, right? Like pen testing companies. I'm talking about specifically pen testing companies, and see if you can get a connection. And if you go to any conferences, link up with some folks, and maybe you can intern. You have to probably sign an NDA that you cannot release any kind of company data, or like tell your friends, oh, I was in with ISP and we did this engagement for, Joe Blow's Crab Shack, and we found these one, like, you can't do that. But I'm sure you can probably land something like that. And as far as vulnerability management, you can start that today. You can install like Nessus on your home lab and just like start scanning your home network, right? And even you can do like an ifconfigs.io/myip, and that'll pull down your IP, or you can curl that as well. And then just get your IP and just like scan your IP from like the outside. And I'm sure like, you know how to do that, and see like from the outside in, if there's any vulnerabilities, and maybe you can provide that to your ISP and you can say you found some stuff. But yeah, that's awesome that you're 50% through. Keep it going. And if there's any other questions, you can reach out to me, on LinkedIn or on Discord or wherever you can find me, I'm sure. But good luck with that, Jazz. Thank you.
I know we're out of time, but FedEx did have a question on, and I think
I'm not in a hard stop, so there's no Ranger game tonight.
I think this is like a good question for you, Pat, because I know that when you started your YouTube channel, it was kind of like you're all in, right? Videos, 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 videos. But then if you get busy with work, or you have work life, family life, whatever kind of takes over. So maybe you take a break. So if you're in that break mode, how do you get back to being active on YouTube again? Like, how do you re-energize and get back to being focused and focus on your channel?
Oh, that's a good question. And I think like for me, and I struggle with that still, you know what I mean? It's like a rapper, right? Like if you're a rapper or a songwriter or whatever, like you don't want to use the same lyrics over and over, right? And I remember I'm a big Eminem fan. So, and like, I'm like, he did an interview with Lil Wayne, and like Wayne doesn't write his lyrics, right? It's just, he goes off the top of the dome. And like, he has like, he writes it old school on a notepad. If those people like, like rap or whatever. And then I remember listening to this about 3 years ago or something like that. And like, yeah, I have to listen to my old songs to make sure I don't use the same lines or the same verses or same raps or whatever. And I was like, man, that's so hard, you know? And sometimes like I'll just go on what's going on in my life. Like this week, right? I was like, okay, I need to stay consistent. I need to do this. Like I had my 7 rules in every other aspect of my life. Like, okay, I need to stay consistent. My daughter's life, I need to stay consistent at the gym. I have to stay consistent with my health, with my private life, whatever. Like every single avenue. But I practice these principles, right? So, and I'm like, and if I'm studying for a certification, if I'm doing this, so that's why I made that video, right?
Yeah, you need to drop the link to that video in here, because that's like a big part of everything that we've talked about tonight. If you can find it.
Yeah, no, yeah, I can find it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's something, and it didn't get a lot of views because it's not like with, it's not a hacking and.
Yeah, isn't that crazy though? Like it's like, okay, I'm gonna be real, and people are like, I don't know about that one. Like,
exactly.
why don't you hack something, then I'll watch.
Yeah, and that's, and to going back what you asked, like that's pretty much what I do and how I come up with my content. Like,
right.
And I try not to overthink things anymore. Like whatever I'm learning or whatever I'm doing, like I recently passed the CAPE exam, and I had to take a break because I was like, man, this thing was really, really hard. And sometimes success happens in private or in silence. Like I didn't tell anyone about, I guess like 2 of my good friends that knew I was really going for it. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to make sure like that I passed, that I felt confident. And I was like, okay, like, let me make sure I do this exam. And then when I pass, I'm like, okay, then I can tell the world. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if I'm working on something or how to get back into it, like it's hard. It is difficult because it's like, what can I talk about that's new? What can I talk about that I haven't talked about already?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it's like the challenge for me. And like sometimes like I'll have to like go on my own YouTube channel, pull like an Eminem thing, and like, okay, but because I feel like, oh, how to get into cyber in 2026. It's the same bloody thing from 2025 and 2024.
The same video everybody else is making.
Yeah,
I will say, yeah.
So it's really hard. Like, yeah, I jump on that bandwagon just to get the video out and just to talk about something, but it's difficult. It's really, really difficult.
Jack Scott made a LinkedIn post about, and it was so good, how motivation is fleeing. Like motivation does not stick around. You don't wake up every day and be like, I'm motivated. And to think that that's going to happen is, just false thinking. You don't wake up every day with motivation. It goes away, but consistency, that's what wins the race. Like that's what keeps you going. So FedEx, I know that you asked that question was for me too. I always have to think about the end goal. Because it is a lot. Because not only am I trying to promote myself, but I'm trying to promote others, and I'm trying to get clients, and it's a lot, but I have personally, this is what I do. I focus on the end goal and where I want to be. There are people who say like, I don't care about the money. I'm raising my hand right now. I'm not one of those people. I've never had money. I want it.
Yep.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, I don't care. I have a crappy car right now. I want a nice one. Like, I think of like the end goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
All
Yeah.
of my money right now goes to my kids' travel sports. And I'm happy for them. And I love to do that because I love to go to all the games. I love sports.
Mm-hmm.
But for me personally, what does mom want? Right? Mama
Mm-hmm.
wants that nice car.
Yep.
Like, and that's what motivates me. Maybe that's not what motivates you. But that's what
Mm-hmm.
motivates me. I have to think of the end goal because, man, if there's no end in sight, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Why are
No,
any of us
exactly.
doing this?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this same, you know what I mean? Like I grew up very, government cheese and food stamps, and I used to sell my food stamps for cash. Like there's things like, that I had to do to make ends meet. Like I remember my grandmother would say, "Here, Pat," like, she would want like Marlboro, like cigarettes from the bodega, and all she had was her food stamps. So I'm like, "All right, Ma, like I'll take this $20 in food stamps and I'll go sell it for like $15 in cash." I'll go to Seatown or I'll go to Pathmark or wherever, like the supermarket, and I'll sit outside and I'll like, "Hey, do you have $20 or $10 cash? And I'll give you food stamps. You're going to buy food anyway." So these are little things that I had to do growing up. And it was like, I know how it is to have nothing. So it's like when you start getting a few bucks here and there, it's like, oh, snap. Like,
Yeah.
and
It's nice.
yeah.
Like,
And
oh, wow, I paid all my bills this month. Yeah.
yep.
Like,
Yeah. And I think the most important thing, at least for me, like Kathy said, everyone has their own motivation. Like money was something for me to like make sure I'm not where I was prior
right.
to not having it, right? Like I don't care if I have a Lamborghini. Can I afford one? Probably, right? I'm not gonna lie. Can I afford
I
one?
cannot.
Yes. You know, like, but will I go buy a Lamborghini? No. Like I'd
Right.
rather have 4 homes that I own, but making $5,000 to $8,000 in rent.
Sure. That's
Then
smart. Yeah.
that's where and we talked about that at Wild West Hack and Fest, and we still have to revisit that conversation with wealth management. But like these are things that like matter for me. Yeah, I do have a decent car. You know what I mean? I have a decent home. I have a home. I have a decent home. Like so my priorities were I wanted to have more of my money into something that can be longevity. So that's what I did. Right? That's what I'm doing. And now that I'm starting this at, someone put, I think it was, I forgot Chamo or whatever, said I'm 50. I'm only 40, dude. But, so like time I'm 50, then I can be like, okay, next 10 years, if I focus on ISP and building this up and making this, the best I can, maybe I can, like I'm not the kind of person that wants to go buy a yacht. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I hate boats. Like I go on a boat, with her with parents and everything like that because they have a boat. But like, I'm not like, oh, let's go fishing this weekend. No, I'd rather like, let's go watch a Ranger game or whatever. But so everyone has their own drive. Like you want to have a nice car. You want to make sure your kids can go to T-ball and this and make sure you have whatever your drive is. Everyone has their own drive. Right. But will I turn down money just because? No, like that's not going to happen because with that money I can put to my daughter's savings and her I wouldn't say her retirement, but like her college fund and all that stuff. Like, and so everyone has their own
Yeah, I
motivation.
think about the end goal, and somebody did say discipline beats motivation. Yeah, I said consistency, but discipline's a much stronger word
Mm-hmm.
to be disciplined. So somebody asked, are SOC analyst roles still worth pursuing?
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1000%. Yeah. Um, yeah. If you just want a yes or no answer, yes. Because every single organization has a like when I say not every single organization, like if you have a decent sized company, at least I would say, me personally, like if you have 500 users or above, you should have some kind of detection and response or a SOC solution inside of your organization in order for you to fight the bad guys. So yeah, most definitely, SOC positions are definitely
Right.
um,
And a lot of the SOC analysts I
relevant.
know moved up really fast.
Hmm.
right? They were only in the SOC analyst roles for a couple of years, and then they moved up.
Hmm.
So I think it's an awesome place to start, especially get your foot in the door. I say go for it if that's, I mean, if that's what you want to do. FedEx was asking, what can I talk about that's not repeating someone else? That's almost impossible
Yeah, I
to
like
do.
that.
But you can always do it differently. That's why I always say be yourself, because if I did a video on how to get cyber and somebody else did a video on how to get to cyber, it's going to be different, right? You have different personalities, you have different experiences, different
Hmm.
thoughts. I say FedEx, build your content based on your personal experiences coming through the ranks,
Hmm.
and talk about that. Nobody can take away who you are, or
Hmm.
nobody can take away your experiences, and nobody can copy that. Right?
Exactly.
Just sit down, make a list of your 10 top things that you're passionate about and go for it. Even if it is the same title, like Pat was saying, everybody does the how to get into cyber in 2026. But it's usually pretty different based on like who's doing the video. So I say go for it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, it's 15 after. I don't want to take too much more of your time. Let's see if there's. I don't think there's anything else. But if there is anything else, obviously, Kathy and I are partners. We're doing a lot of things behind the scenes. And if you guys are looking for any media, I'm not going to only promote myself, but like for media stuff and hopefully maybe some back. How does it like behind the scenes will come soon when she comes
Yeah.
over and helps me with my media.
Yeah.
And but
That'll be
yeah, I
fun.
really appreciate it. And obviously, like always, like if you guys need any pen testing services or if you know anyone, reach out to myself or Kathy on LinkedIn or email. You go to the site, you can email us, and we'll be more than happy to get on a call. And we do a referral bonus. So if you do refer someone, we'll talk about that privately. And yeah,
Get that money.
yeah, feed the needy. So I really appreciate, FedEx, hit me up on the side. You have my number and, you still need to come over now. I think I'm even closer to your house, I think. But awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kathy.
Thanks,
And thank you, everyone.
guys.